And we are here outside the Stadio Diego Maradona. I am here with Gordon and George.
Yeah.
Fellas, nice to meet you. We just met in the La Mano de Dios restaurant across the road from the stadium, and we got talking. There was a table behind us. So fellas, your first time in Naples, what are your thoughts? Are you taking it all in?
What a city. I mean, frankly, today's been an exercise in doing your best to not get run over by a moped, but just literally just drinking in the city, the culture, the atmosphere. I mean, this is a city that just, everything is history. Everything, you turn around the corner and everything about this city is history, it's historic. Everything, it's a shrine to Maradona, it's a shrine to the culture, the religion, the sport. The sport is the religion, frankly, but it's just brilliant to be here. I mean, Italian football is just, what a vibe. I mean, obviously we're of an era that we grew up with Gazzetta Football Italia, Channel 4, James Richardson, Golazio. So like being able to come here and just actually see it firsthand is incredible.
So obviously you can tell Gordon is Scottish. And George, where are you from?
Yes, I'm from England. You probably can't tell from my accent, but I'm from Newcastle, so another one-team city. And we're just saying there that there's probably the only similarity between Naples and Newcastle is the one legend. And you've got the whole city dedicated to Maradona, whereas obviously Newcastle, we have those two pubs that have been renamed Sheach. And to sum up what Gordon was saying there, this city is a vibe.
So when you go back to Newcastle, you're going to ask people to make murals of Alan Shearer and to make it more like Naples.
I'm going to ask some people around tonight. I'm going to work out how they do the wall art, and then I'll go and tag St James's.
So have any of you been to games in Italy before, or is this your first time?
No, I've been before. Basically, my attitude's basically been, how can I follow Scottish footballers? Obviously, in recent years, there's been more of a growing trend of Scottish players making their way to Serie A. Obviously, we had Aaron Hickey in Bologna. He left, replaced by Lewis Ferguson. I got to go to Bologna Fiorentina last year to see Lewis Ferguson play, and it's just incredible. I mean, like we say, the culture of this country, the passion for football, to see, I think there's real clear vibes and connections with Scottish football as well, like just the passion, the culture, the energy for football. So I think Scottish players just naturally come here. So to see this wee lad from Aberdeen captaining his team as he took them to the Champions League last season is just incredible. And obviously, frankly, being able to come here to see Scott McTominay, hopefully Billy Gilmore as well, if he's going to get a game, we're just so excited to be here, and being able to come and see Scottish players play is exciting.
Can you rank your favourite Scottish players playing in Italy at the moment? From we'll go countdown. We've got 5 or 6, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go for it.
Goodness me. Okay, so I think obviously I think you've got to put Scott McTominay there first. Like Scott McTominay scoring lots of goals, running this team as they potentially run to win the Scudetto.
By the way, in the stadium.
Second, I'm going to go with. You've got to go Lewis Ferguson, number 2. Obviously, this season hasn't been quite as good. He came back from the serious injury, came back from his ACL, struggling to get quite back up to the levels that he was last season. But like I say, to have a foreigner, an outsider, come to Bologna, become captain of that team, leader as they made it to the Champions League, and the first time in so long, that's really impressive. He's also scored. He's now scored more goals in Italy than any other Scottish player.
Really?
I believe Lewis Ferguson. He beat. It was Dennis Law's record. I think Dennis Law and Joe Jordan had scored a similar number of goals, and obviously we had Dennis Law, Joe Jordan, Graham Souness back in the day playing in Italy. He's now scored more Serie A goals than all of those players. So I think that puts him in that kind of
big names on that list.
Big names, exactly. Then obviously you've got Shea Adams as well. Shea Adams made his move this summer from Southampton to Torino, and again seems to have settled in really well, scoring lots of goals, doing very well in that city as well. And then obviously we have Ewan Henderson at Empoli, who again I think he did it. He was a Scotsman that came to Italy before it was cool. He was basically one of the first Scotsmen in the modern era to come.
He blazed the trail.
He did, exactly.
For Scotsmen in this country.
Precisely. And he's been to a number of clubs. He was at Bari, and now he's at Empoli. And obviously midweek scored the first penalty in the shootout.
Verona, I think.
I believe he was at Verona.
Yeah.
He's been at a number of different clubs, and he's now fluent in Italian as well. And again, look, we know about British people when they travel, they don't tend to pick up the culture. So to see a Scottish guy, Prego. To see Scottish people coming over, he's fully fluent in Italian now. That's so impressive. You've got to be impressed with that. So he's got to rank highly there as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got Josh Doig. That's a swallow.
Yes. How can I forget? A left back. Yes, exactly. A left back. Again, just like unlucky.
And Bill Gilmore as well.
Josh Doig, unlucky the fact that he's grown up in an era with Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson for the national team. But again, like I said, sometimes you've got to do something a bit differently in your career. Come over to here and enjoy yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's about enjoyment level. What about Englishmen?
Englishmen that are playing in Italy right now.
Loftus-Cheek. There's Loftus-Cheek,
Yep.
isn't
Tammy
there?
Abraham.
Loftus-Cheek, Tammy Abraham, with Fico Tommy, and Kyle Walker's now here, and he's had an interesting introduction into the league, and he's doing well to raise AC Milan back to being title contenders, possibly.
Maybe meet some of the locals, get on, create some more relationships over here, maybe. Grow his ever-growing family.
I mean, there is now a really good vein of British talent that's moved over to Italy to try and bring their style of football to Italy, which is I'm usually better the other way to name Italians in the Premier League.
Rather than one in the Italian league. You might know one from Newcastle, maybe.
Oh well, Tonali is obviously our new. Tonali is obviously our new saviour, and he's incredible. And he builds that midfield with Joe Linton and Bruno to a level that we will be playing against Napoli next year in the Champions League.
And can you name your favourite Italian players of all time? Just one. Your favourite Italian player of all time.
Favourite Italian player.
Can I go first before you?
You go.
So I mean, I have to go with Gianfranco Zola. He was an absolute legend, and he nearly. When you have those, I was born and raised in Newcastle, but he nearly convinced me to support Chelsea for a while. But I mean, obviously, he's another legend that is synonymous in the city as well.
Okay, Gianfranco now.
So I think back in the day, so I always loved. I loved watching Luca Toni with the really cool celebration. But a real wild card, and this is going to be the real chip on my shoulder. Gianpaolo Pazzini, the scorer of the first ever goals at the new Wembley Stadium against England. It was an under-21 game, Italy against England. First ever goals, first ever hat-trick at the new Wembley. So there's your quiz question for today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cheers, lads, for the great discussion just before kick-off here, and obviously we'll get your thoughts post-game.
Cheers.
Forza Napoli.
Yeah.
Forza Philip Billing.
Yeah.
I don't think my ears have stopped ringing. The whistling in the game was something that was so culturally, traditionally Italian, but just absolutely deafening the atmosphere.
What was that? It was a very, very different experience to go into a game in England. Firstly, in England we get an allocated seat, and that's where we sit. There was a lot
Such
of
an old man complaint.
There was a lot of going like, yeah, this is actually my seat, and then they're going, oh, okay, can I see a ticket? And then it just ran away. But we were sitting right on the edge of one side of the pitch, so you could see on the first half it was brilliant because everything was going like really close to us, and the second half we just looked up to the screen because it was all in that right side corner.
Yeah.
But that's brilliant. I
Napoli,
mean,
very right-wing heavy,
yes,
so to speak.
Let's leave the Mussolini statue for that.
I need to interject here because we do have a Mussolini playing in Serie B, and it is the great grandson of Benito.
Yeah.
And he plays on the right wing, and he's really good.
Good for him. I wish him well.
But no, like once the goal went in, like the whole stadium just erupted, and it. But the thing that I really noticed about today's game was like before the match, just the atmosphere was proper party, and you were like, oh, they've got a live DJ, and it was like. When the match kicked off, it took about 10 minutes to get back into like watching a match because it felt like you were in a club or something beforehand, which was a really nice way to start a match. But obviously, it's not what you're here for.
Yeah. It's like you're watching two different things. There's a match on, but you're watching everything that's going on.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, look, like certainly. UK football culture obviously is its own thing and does its own thing, but is obviously also inspired by places around the world. And you look at, say, if you go to a game in Celtic Park in Glasgow, where I'm from, and obviously you have the Green Brigade, which is the kind of Celtic's ultras section, and obviously they're a very small corner of the stadium, a little pocket of the stadium where there's constant drums and singing and jumping and bouncing. But in that stadium there were two full ends of ultras, and I was like, this is incredible. It's absolutely unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
What noticed was after the game, when they made sure they went to both sides of the Ultra Stadium.
Yeah.
And it does take up the whole area. And like when they scored, like it did feel like, come on guys, just concentrate again, because it must be really hard for them because they've just scored and then the whole stadium erupts and you've got flares going off on both sides. It's like a proper atmosphere, and then you've got we've only got 4 minutes left, come on, push on.
Let's get another.
And the DJ's playing another song. It's like,
I know, I've never seen the DJ hit the music on as the game kicked off again. And like you've had almost like a full phase of play and the tunes are still going, the party tunes are still going.
The stadium announcers like yelling out.
Yeah, I love that.
The name of the goal.
I love that. I love that. That's brilliant. Like I actually followed that announcer on Instagram because I'd seen him before. I'd seen his goal, obviously for Scott McTominay. It's like Scotto McTominay.
And it was Billing's first goal, and they already had the Billing chant ready to go. Cheers.
Would you guys come again?
100%.
Yeah, definitely,
100%.
man.
That was class.
Just
I love this.
I mean, I don't think it's our choice. I think that's our wife's choice. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Yes, exactly. Francesca, I love you. I'm really sorry I'm missing Disney on Ice tomorrow, but I've had a really good time. Exactly, yeah, genuinely. I mean, like, honestly, the food, the culture, the beer, the coffee, the fish, the seafood, like, I might not go home, you know?
We've got more food coming now.
God, it's so cheap. Genuinely.
Yeah,
so
it is really cheap.
So cheap, yeah. So
and also,
brilliant.
just like, it's actually cheaper for me to meet Gords out here
than it is to come to
than
Glasgow.
it is to go to Glasgow. Like, genuinely, we worked this out. Like,
yeah, you pay more in petrol driving to Glasgow than you have
to fly out here, hostel,
and have a lovely time.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, genuinely, we went to, like, again, I said to you earlier, I did most of my research on Naples on TikTok. The absolute #1 rated pizza restaurant, the Di Michele one, that's like super famous. You see the queues down the street. We went at about 11 o'clock this morning for brunch. Massive pizza, €6, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is a joke.
So well, they've opened one up in New York, and I believe it's like $30 for.
Salute.
Salute.
Buonasera. Ci sentiamo.
Ci sentiamo.
Tell someone to suck